one. Like, really, peep this one. No more.
Project Diva Deep Blue.
No more.
Adachi Red.
No more.
Domino Effect.
No more.
Sarah.
You been blocked.
Hi guys, it's me, your least favorite YouTube creator ever. Today someone actually left a comment on my video, asking me to read part 2 of Hands, and since I love my fans, you know, because I'm super amazing, I'm gonna do it. So, let's get into it. On one of the sleepovers at Sunny and Mari's house, Basil had trouble sleeping. He went upstairs to use the restroom, but before he could enter, he could hear something from Sunny and Mari's room. So the chapter begins with our least favorite flower boy talking. It sounded like Sunny was whimpering. Basil couldn't help but investigate. He knocked on their door and whispered, "Sunny, are you okay?" He heard movement from one of the beds. The door suddenly opened and it was Mari. She held up a small blanket in front of herself, clearly flustered. He didn't peg her as someone that slept naked, he thought at the time. Hello Basil. What are you doing up? She asked. Oh, I was just heading up to use the restroom. But I, heard Sunny making some noise. Is he okay? He tried to lean to see Sunny, but Mari stood in the way. She thought about her answer, then gave Basil a warm smile. Oh, poor Sunny was having a nightmare. But don't you worry about it, I'm here for him. Alright. You're such a good big sister, Mari. I wish I had a sister like you, Basil said. Mari looked at him. There was something behind her stare that Basil couldn't place. She closed them, maintaining that bright smile of hers, giving him a small pat on the head. Well, why don't you hurry on with your business and get some sleep, okay, Basil? He nodded and left Mari to things, none the wiser. Sorry, but we started strong. Anyways, let's continue. There was the chair for Sunny and the chair for Basil. They used to sit together at the little table in Sunny's kitchen, talking the day away and playing games. Well, Sunny preferred listening to people. For whatever reason, he was hesitant to talk about himself. But that was fine though, as long as they were having fun. Mari has spent the last few weeks taking late-night classes to prepare for college, so Basil found himself keeping Sunny company. Basil thought he was doing a good job with how happy Sunny seemed to be. One day, Mari's class let out early and she got home while Sunny and Basil were talking about Captain Spaceboy. She looked more energetic than she usually was these days, which Sunny didn't seem happy to see. Basil, do you want to stay the night? Sunny asked him. There was a hint of desperation in his voice. Oh, I'll have to ask my grandma first, said Basil, not recognizing that. You know how she feels when things aren't planned. My, that's completely different from you, Basil. You always prefer your pictures to be spontaneous, right? Said Mari, resting her hand on Sunny's shoulder. Yeah, there isn't a lot of energy to those kinds of photos, personally. Basil murmured as he went over to the phone. He didn't see how Sunny tensed up in Mari's touch. Thankfully, Basil's grandma gave him the okay to sleep over. Sunny seemed excited and relieved. Mari seemed happy, though Basil could feel that she was somehow disappointed. Mari also seemed to stare at him a lot. Mari practiced her song in front of an audience of one. Sunny had went over to Kel and Heroes for a little bit, leaving his friend Basil by himself to listen to Mari's music. While composed for most of it, Basil could see a flash of agitation on her face when she messed up one note. Despite that and Mari's own perfectionism though, Basil thought it was beautiful. You did great, Mari. Basil complimented when she finished, giving her a little applause. She looked bashful. I'm glad you liked it, though it could have been better. Don't worry about it, people will think it's great. She playfully scoffed at that. She got up from her stool and moved over to sit next to Basil, patting Basil on the head. So Basil, how is your photography going? Everything is going great, actually. Hope to work on the school newspaper next year, actually. I think they'd like my photo work. I imagine you'd be taking a lot of posed pictures, right? Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose it's more of a job, but hey, I'd like to get more experience. Mari thought about what to say next. She smiled, resting her hand on Basil's head. Why don't you practice with me? We could get together by ourselves and I can do some poses for you to take pictures of. Would that be okay with you? Basil was going to think about it when the door to the piano room opened. Sunny had just come back from next door and he seemed to be afraid that Mari and Basil were by themselves. Mari, let's practice, he said quickly, keeping his anxious eyes on them. Mari clapped her hands together, delighted. Ooh, you're never this ready for practice. I hope you can carry that enthusiasm with you, little brother. Sunny didn't look happy. Sunny, what's wrong? Why do you look so worried? Basil asked. It's fine. Everything is okay, Sunny said. Basil stayed in his seat as he began to watch Mari and Sunny do proper duet practice. Everyone seemed to forget Mari's weird questioning. Basil came across something that day, and he wished he could forget it. It was the night of Sunny and Mari's big recital, which everyone was looking forward to. Before it could kick off, Basil thought to surprise the siblings at home to encourage them. He walked up to the house, which had no cars in the driveway, with a spring in his step, stopping at the picnic basket near the front door to get their spare house key. The first thing he saw was Sunny's violin shattered on the floor. That was enough of a shock to him, but his attention was drawn toward the top of the stairs. I can say that what you just did was an accident. After all, you don't want to let everyone down, right? They worked so hard to buy that for you and you worked so hard on this recital, and you just threw it all away. Mari had Sunny pinned against the wall for whatever reason. Even with Mari blocking most of his body, Basil could sense Sunny's panic. Especially with his trembling hands pinned over his head. Basil wanted to shout, but he was too confused by the scene unfolding behind him. Mari was whispering something to Sunny, which just made him struggle some more. And then, Sunny made a loud affirmative plea, I'm sorry but, please don't touch me. Basil felt his blood turn cold. Basil used to sit down and watch television with his grandma all the time, and she was a big fan of mystery dramas. Despite his nervous disposition, he enjoyed watching that kind of stuff with someone else around. His grandma would give him little life lessons to put stuff he saw in context, alongside the practical skills he picked up from watching the shows. For instance, he learned that it was dangerous to go out alone at night. He learned that muggers like to hang around alleyways. He learned how to dig a good hole, though for gardening instead of body disposal. He learned how to tie a noose. Stuff like that. However, there were some things that his grandma didn't want him to see. In one case, there was a show where a man shoved a woman into bed, reaching out with his hands to rip at her clothes while she cried dash. Grandma had turned off the television, shaking her head. They don't need to show that stuff for the mystery. Television these days is getting to be too much. Grandma, what was happening there? Basil remembered asking her in confusion. His grandma shook her head. You're too young to know what it's about. But, what if something like that happens to me? Grandma stared at him a bit before sighing. To her, he had a point. And besides, he already knew about the birds and the bees, albeit a far stripped back version of it, when a romance show they were watching got a bit raunchy. Listen Basil. You remember the birds and the bees? That's usually for people that love each other. But when one person doesn't want it, when they're hurt by it, that's something called rape. It's something that really hurts a person and it scars them for life. Scar. Not a physical scar, but a scar in here, she pointed at her head for emphasis. It's something that destroys people. So Basil dear, if there's anyone that ever tries to do that to you or makes you feel uncomfortable, please let someone you trust know. Basil thought that Mari was one of those people to trust. Mari couldn't be doing this, right? His thought processes were drowned out by a sudden movement and cry. Mari hit her brother. Sunny struggled more. Mari got rougher. Sunny cried. Basil wanted to scream. Basil wanted to run up those stairs and stop her. But he couldn't bring himself to do anything. Seeing someone that he trusted so much do this froze him in terror. And then, "Get off of me!" Sunny shouted that out in a panicked voice. Mari stumbled away from him and down the stairs. As they got to work, Basil's mind whirred, trying to comprehend the dark truths Sunny had whispered to him before he completely clammed up. Basil couldn't blame him for going silent. How could she do this to her own brother? He remembered the small interactions she had with him. Her trying to act like his big sister, coaxing him to spend time with her by themselves. Basil felt nauseated, questioning her intent. Basil thought about Hero. He's such a nice guy, there's no way he knows about this, right? But then again, Mari was also a nice person. Could he trust Hero? Could he trust anyone? Did she also hurt Kel? Did she also hurt Aubrey? He thought about how close the girls were and felt sick on Aubrey's behalf. It was all too much. He couldn't even imagine what Sunny was thinking. He needed some reassurance. Everything is going to be okay, Sunny. She won't hurt you anymore. Basil wanted Sunny to feel safe, but he also wanted to put himself at ease.
It failed.
Something swayed in the wind.
It felt like banging a criminal.
There's some things you simply can't glance over. I don't think it's rigged to write a scene like this in such a way. It's insensitive, and yeah, I'm not much of a person to talk about it either way, but it's in human nature to know that this isn't how you write about a thing like this. Anyways, you probably don't want to hear me blabber on and on, so let's continue. Basil had thought and thought and thought. There's no way Mari did that, right? No. No, can't be. Something else did it. Something else hurt Sunny. Something else pushed Mari down the stairs. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. This is just to protect Sunny. Sunny shouldn't be blamed.
Sunny asked him not to tell anyone what kind of a person Mary truly was.
Basil attended the funeral. Sunny couldn't because he was too despondent.
And could not bear seeing people mourn his abuser.
Kel looked miserable. Aubrey cried her heart out during the service. Hero tried to be collected, but Basil saw him collapse to his knees and cry when he thought no one was looking. Basil cried too, but he felt a strange sort of relief. It reminded him that Mari was a kind, beloved person. It had to have been something else that day. Something else hurt Sunny, something else killed Mari. Grandma encouraged Basil to go to Sunny's house to show him his photo album. She thought that reminding him of all the good times he had with his sister would comfort him. That's not what Basil got at all. Sunny looked at the photos of Mari with dread and guilt, trembling as he flipped through. He did not say anything. In fact, Basil doesn't think he's said anything at all ever since that day. The last thing he said was an agreement to a promise to be with each other. Basil reached a hand towards Sunny and was heartbroken to see him recoil. I'm sorry, Sunny. I was hoping to help you, haha. He murmured. How about I get you a drink? Sunny nodded apprehensively. Basil got up to go to Sunny's kitchen to get a nice glass of water for him. When Basil got back, he saw Sunny standing over the album, a marker in his hands and a blank look on his face. Sunny, why? He asked, looking through the album. Every single photo that featured Mari was vandalized, violently scribbled over to block out her face. Basil understood why Sunny did it. But he didn't want to accept that reason. So he lied to himself again. I see, there was something in those photos, right? Why yeah, I understand why you would do that. I wouldn't want something to ruin my photos, either. Remember when Hector pooped in that picture? Ha. Basil went home soon after that. That would be the last time he'd see Sunny for a long time. After that, Sunny had become a shut-in, rejecting all visitors and refusing to leave his house, the promise broken. Grandma wasn't well. His parents, distant as always, decided to hire a caretaker to watch over her and Basil. "Hi Basil. My name is Polly, and I'll be your grandmother's caretaker. It's nice to meet you." She was a kind woman that looked to be of college age. It kinda reminded him of something. It's nice to meet you too, Miss Polly. You don't have to call me Miss, Basil. Just treat me as, a roommate? No, actually, think of me as your big sister. Basil felt cold. He had a lot of worries about Polly, but she was the kind big sister type of girl she presented herself to be. They talked about the flowers he grew and she absorbed the facts with genuine interest, complimenting him on his green thumb. They worked together to make a good welcome party meal, and she gave him some practical cooking tips. She even suggested that he try his hand at growing vegetables so that they could cook them up in the future. Basil appreciated her, but he couldn't push away that cold feeling inside himself. There was once another big sister figure in his life, and she
Turned out to be
died.
monster.
He always slept in his room with the door locked. Polly assumed that given his demeanor, he probably just preferred privacy. In reality, he couldn't trust her enough to sleep around her. In that locked room, as the years wore on, he was tearing himself apart on the inside. The guilt of everything that happened only weighed on Basil more and more. For him, it wasn't necessarily the act of
Begging Mary.
protecting Sonny, but the impact it had on the rest of his friends. Aubrey had visited a long time ago and was outraged that
Sonny.
something vandalized his photo album. He remembered her tears of rage before she cut him out of her life. Nowadays, whenever he saw Aubrey, it didn't lead to anything good.
At the very least, he was happy that Mary never hurt her.
He didn't know how Kel and Hero felt, but he knew that Hero was guaranteed to be feeling just as bad, if not worse, than Aubrey. Their grief weighed down on him,
The weight of a big body.
but it was a burden he was willing to hold. He needed to protect Sonny. He needed to protect him from what they did.
He understand that she deserved it.
He thought a lot about Sonny during those days. He thought a lot about that something. I should have seen the signs, he whispered to himself during his more manic nights. Basil thought about how quiet Sonny was and how something always took charge for him. He thought about that time something asked Sonny for a hug and how sad he looked doing it in the picture Basil took. He thought about how much happier Sonny was when it was just them compared to his cliff-faced expression when he was in a group, when something was there. Basil's guilt just got worse. He was close enough to things that he should have been aware that something was hurting Sonny. He could have saved him, he could have prevented all of this. They promised that they would be there for each other. Sonny broke his promise, but Basil didn't blame him. After all, he wasn't there for him before all of that. Something started to appear before him, encircling him. Something seemed to be protective of him at first glance, but it threatened to touch him, much like how it did Sonny. Fuck Basil. Sorry, I'll stop interrupting. Basil's grandma died in the hospital. Sonny was leaving tomorrow. He only had Polly left, but he still couldn't bring himself to trust her. Basil locked himself in his room. Something was all around him now, threatening to swallow him whole. The guilt was getting too much to bear. He is such a bad friend.
Garden chairs he kept in this room looked inviting.
He didn't blame Sonny for leaving, when he could have saved him so long ago. Such a bad friend. His door opened. Ah, right. He went out to get one last drink,
Before he killed himself.
and forgot to lock the door. Sonny stood before him. He looked afraid. Oh. Sonny, it's you. He stammered. I've kept my promise, Sonny. I didn't tell anyone that something was hurting you. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I didn't want them to think that Mari. Sonny flinched at her name. Sonny, I'm sorry. I am terrible, I know, but don't worry, Sonny. I can fix that problem. He held his shears. Sonny stepped back, likely to shout out for help from the others. Sonny stepped away from the door when the shadows in the room bent to create an image of something. Her. Why are you leaving? Basil demanded. D, don't you want to see me make it up to you? Am I really that terrible? Sunny faced Basil. It was better than facing the alternative, no matter how stressed out Basil was. I could have saved you from something, I'm so sorry, B, but I know what to do. I'll share your pain. Basil held his shears up to his forearms. I remember seeing something gripping you here. I'll cut myself here. I'll cut everywhere something touched, for you. I'm sorry that you went through all that pain so I hope me cutting myself will make you forgive me. What the fuck is wrong with the Ritter? Sunny stepped forward, increasingly panicked. This act set off Basil's own panic, though he was looking past Sunny at, there's something behind you right now. I'll get rid of it, Sunny. I'll save you, like I should have done a long time ago. Basil stepped toward him, shears now pointed toward him. Sunny considered it to be an improvement, but Sunny needed to stop him. If Basil was left on his own, he needed to calm down, first. He took a deep breath. Don't be afraid. It's not as scary as you think. Sunny felt like throwing up. She had said that once as sincere advice to him. But she also said the same thing when she was trying to coax him to, no. He tried to focus, instead. This is getting nowhere fast, huh, Sunny? Mari sighed, after a failed music practice session. She looked at him. She had an idea of what to do for a break. Sunny couldn't focus. He wanted to cry. He tried to persist. You have to keep going, she demanded of him. He didn't want to do it, he didn't want it. Sunny couldn't find stability. Every piece of advice Mari had ever given him just reminded him of something darker about her, and he hated it. Sunny became stressed out. They both shared one thought, running through their heads obsessively. Sunny collapsed, hand held up to his eye. But Basil was also collapsing, out of strength to keep fighting. At least he stopped him from, will you forgive me, my best friend? They both passed out. Basil could hear people around him, but he didn't have the strength to open his eyes. He couldn't pick out what anyone was saying, because his mind just felt crowded. He could only pick out the emotions, surprise, anger, shock, sympathy, grief. But he could also pick out a certain voice that he had not heard in a long time. Basil soon found the strength to open his eyes to face that voice. Sunny stood before him. There was something behind him. And there was something around himself, too. But then, Sunny smiled so warmly and genuinely. That vision of something faded as Sunny's newfound positivity radiated from him. Basil couldn't help but smile sincerely as well, and the room started to feel less claustrophobic. And so Sunny spoke to him for the first time in years. I'm sorry. And I forgive you, too. Oh, look at me. Look at me, please. Oh, I need it. I need validation. Please look at me and only me. Please. This chapter sure was something, I guess. I hate it. Chapter 1 was acceptable because it mostly just retold the story of Amori with the change. Chapter 2 is simply terrible. Okay, so I'll try to highlight everything that's wrong with this chapter. So through the chapter, unlike in the first time we get Basil as a main focus, yeah, you're probably thinking.
Oh, Envy, but you hate Basil. This is extremely biased hatred.
Shut up. Yes, I hate the original Basil, but this Basil is just even worse. In the attempts of the author to make their own original story, they ended up fucking up the character even more. The part of, I'll cut myself everywhere she touched, isn't on chapter 1 being, well, out of place, but also it's just a bad dialogue. Yeah, Basil's losing his fucking mind. But why the hell would he cut herself on the spots that she touched? Mari never touched Basil. And he made no attempt to cut Sunny other than stabbing him. Not even on the places that she touched him. No. He stabbed him in the eye. Wow, Basil, you're amazing. The author clearly just glossed over the guilt from hanging Mari, and Basil seemed to just suppress the memories on his mind and send the problem somewhere else because he didn't want to deal with it. Okay, so the author has no idea what they are talking about and is just typing stuff. Look, I'm not saying, oh, don't write dark stories or stories that include SA. I'm saying that if you are going to do it responsible, investigate the topic you're talking about, or you're going to look like an absolute buffoon. Anyways. Thanks for reading. Bye.